What is up YouTube, Ultimate Lock here, and today we have an eBay scam video. So it's been a long time since I've made an eBay scam video, and that's just basically because of the fact that when people try to scam me, it's generally the really lame attempts of just never sending you an item and they hope that you forget about it, or they send you an item and they have no returns accepted, and it's just like, well, I can just open up an eBay case and return the item, and that's what a majority of scammers do. But then you always have the cheeky chargeback scammers that they go off and you sell them an item, they go off and try to do a chargeback, or they try to send you a refund as a payment, and then they do a chargeback, and this becomes a major problem. And this is the reason why I mainly do eBay scam videos, because you need to know how to fight against this stuff, because it can be really, really problematic if you don't, and majority of the time if you don't, then you'll just get absolutely screwed over. So let's go over what a chargeback is. So essentially, the US government mandates all banks to be able to do transaction reversals, which are known as chargebacks. And essentially, if you basically send any amount of money anywhere in the world, you can file a chargeback claiming it was unauthorized. Now, if you file this chargeback, you're going to have to go off and sign out a lot of paperwork, generally about 5 to 6 pages. They're going to have to mail it to you. They're going to have to make sure that everything's correct, because this is basically, if you lie about this, this is mail fraud. So it's a pretty big deal. And a lot of people just blow this off saying, oh, well, I can just file a chargeback and everything will be hunky-dory. Well, no, not really. If you end up filing a chargeback and you're taken to court over it, you're going to get absolutely screwed. And this is what eBay scammers really don't expect. So I do want to mention that in all my other previous eBay scam videos that I was always the buyer. I was always buying up items and having someone try to do a scam against me and end up uploading it to YouTube. Now, in this situation, I am actually the seller, which is kind of ironic because I've had so many people comment stating that if you were the seller in this situation, you would have had no recourse, you couldn't do anything. Being a seller means that you're absolutely screwed on eBay and there's nothing you can do, and that's completely untrue. Now, eBay is not going to value the same as a seller as a buyer. Buyers can always open the buyer protection program, and essentially if they do that, then they can force a return no matter what. Whereas sellers, they have to go through a different route, but you can resolve the problem as a seller, and I'm going to be showing it to you in this video. So I ultimately decided that I was going to sell some games on eBay because it was near the Christmas season. I figured that, a lot of people are going to be buying some games, and I have some duplicates that I don't need that I ended up getting in previous lots. So I ended up selling about, I want to say 4 or 5 games. One of them being Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, pretty popular game. I already had my copy. I got it on day 1. And I just had this other one that I got in a bundle deal. So I was like, okay, I'll sell this game for $39.99. It's about $5 less than what it's going for. It should sell very fast. And it ended up selling on the first day. So I shipped it out and everything. Absolutely fine. Has the game in it and everything. And the guy ended up receiving it about a week later after I shipped it out. And then, after a week of having it, he ended up filing a chargeback against me, which you can see right here. And I was just like, seriously? Like, you're really gonna file a chargeback over one game that's used? Like, I know Breath of the Wild is a freaking amazing game, but like, seriously, you're gonna file a chargeback over that? So it's absolutely ridiculous. So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I decided to see where this guy lives, and obviously because I shipped an item to him, I knew his address, so I looked it up in Google Maps, and this is a damn house, right? Like, seriously, you're gonna scam someone when you live in this big of a house? Like, come on. This obvious game was not shipped to some abandoned house. The house was valued at $650,000, and he's trying to scam me for Breath of the Wild. Absolutely freaking ridiculous. So I wanted to know what was going through this guy's head, and I decided that I was going to call him up. So if you don't know, in eBay, you can actually go off and edit their shipping address, and if you edit their shipping address, you'll be able to actually get their phone number as well. So that's very, very important, because even knowing you never want to go off and edit a shipping address because it voids the quote-unquote seller protection you have, you will be able to find their phone number, and it's the phone number that they actually use to verify their account and the phone number that they use to get in contact with eBay. So obviously it's going to be a valid phone number. So I decided that I was going to call him up, and boy, this was pretty good. Hi, is this Jackson
Yes it is. Who's this?
This is... I wanted to talk to you before I file mail fraud charges.
Okay, what is this about?
Okay. So, ultimately, I sent you a game, and you claimed that it was an unauthorized transaction.
Alright.
You received the item. Now, I could understand if you wanted to return the item. That's 100% acceptable, right? But you didn't do that. You filed basically a chargeback against me. You realize that's literal definition of mail fraud, right?
Alright, I mean I can return the item if you want. I don't remember filing a claim or anything, but
Okay, yeah, I would like the item back. I sent you, I believe I sent you like 2 messages on eBay. Like, wanting to know what was going on, because I understand mistakes can happen, but I would really need to know, like, what's going on.
alright, yeah, my bad, man. Sorry about that.
Alright, so I'm gonna send you another message on eBay. Please reply to it and everything, and hopefully we can get this resolved.
Alright, yep, and if you send me the address, I can just return the game.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh my gosh, that went so much better than expected. I was really not expecting him to stay on the line. I was actually kind of impressed. I figured that the second he realized who I was, he was just going to immediately hang up. And it was just kind of interesting talking to him, and he was like, yeah, pretty screwed right now. I could just hear in his voice that he was like, oh crap, I got caught, which is pretty amazing. So he offered to return the game, which obviously since I have it in my hand, I ended up getting it back. But I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what would you have done had he not returned the game? Had he just ceased all communication with you and just blocked you on eBay and etc.? And that's pretty simple. What I would have done is I would have gone off and opened up a small claims court case. Now, if it's $1,500 or less, it's $30. If it's over $1,500 to $5,000, it's $50. If it's over $5,000, it's $75. And what this does is it essentially drags them from wherever part of the United States they are back to your basically county. So if you live in Texas and I open up a small claims court case against you, you're coming down the Tampa Bay area. You are going from Texas to Tampa because wherever you file it is basically where the crime occurred. So that's the beautiful thing about small claims court cases. And if they completely ignore it, then it'll be ruled in your favor, and then you can submit liens on their house, you can put liens on their property, and you can just try to foreclose on their property, whether it be getting a car repossessed or getting their house into foreclosure. And it can really screw with people. It can also screw with their credit rating, and it's just generally something you do when someone tries to go off and scam you. So again, I really was not expecting this guy to go off and return the game, but after I ended the phone call, he ended up going off and sending me 2 messages on eBay. Here's the first message right here. Here's the second message, right? And I was just like, damn, I'm gonna get my game back, aren't I? And I was actually kind of shocked, because it was pretty freaking hilarious. The last time someone did a chargeback scam against me, I ended up getting my $15 game back from him, not because of the fact that I called him up, because the fact that, one, I called up eBay, and I got this huge annoying lectures telling me that it was the cost of doing business, that I couldn't do anything whatsoever. I was absolutely screwed by eBay standards. They're just like, essentially go off and take the hit, which I thought was really, 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 really ridiculous. And so I committed myself to basically figuring out how to get around this. I figured out I could either take him to court, or I could go the Allen route. And it was a pretty good route, because what ended up happening is that I figured out this guy had a LinkedIn account. I figured out where this guy worked, and I decided to call him up at work. And I was like, are you going to return my game? Yes or no? And the answer was yes. I ended up getting my game back. And it was pretty funny, because that guy was not expecting that. It's like, when you get a phone call at work, more problems can occur if you basically say no. You could end up losing your job over a $15 game, which is absolutely ridiculous and absolutely hilarious. So with this guy, the fact that he backed down so easily, I was like, okay, there's obviously a problem right here. There's obviously something he's trying to hide. And I know how to search the public domain records. So I ended up going off and searching everything, and I found some crazy crap, right? some like crazy stuff. So, geez, this guy ended up paying $7,213 in property taxes this year. And he's scamming someone for Breath of the Wild. Why on earth are you scamming someone for a video game when you pay $7 grand for property taxes? That's absolutely ridiculous. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this isn't his house. Well, it does turn out to be his house because he does have a traffic citation right here. That's another thing. So he's actually not that bad of a driver. He's only gotten one in the past like 4 years. So yeah, not that bad of a driver. But the reason why he has this $650,000 house is not because that he designed some amazing program, not because he's an extremely hard worker. It's because his father basically put a silver spoon in his mouth and gave him everything he wanted. So his father owns $2.3 million worth of real estate. So I had searched that up too, and I'm like, this guy his parents are loaded. Absolutely loaded. And if his father has $2.3 million in real estate, he probably has another $2 million in the bank. And he ended up going up and giving his son a $650,000 house for $10. Like, right here is the paper. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's in a revocable trust, which means that if he pisses off his father a lot, if possibly he gets dragged all the way down to the Tampa Bay area, I shouldn't say all the way down, it's only about like 3 or 4 hours away from me, but if he gets dragged to the Tampa Bay area over a court case, long term, his father might get pissed off enough to him to basically remove him from the trust. Because there was other names listed on it. He was the primary trust holder, but there was like multiple others. So maybe that was kind of a realization from, maybe I shouldn't screw people over on eBay. Maybe I shouldn't try to scam people over a $43 freaking game, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I tried to call him up because I really wanted to do like basically another phone call conversation with him after I received the game because I had nothing to lose at this point. And he wasn't answering my phone. It kept on going to voicemail, so he might have just immediately blocked me or something along those lines. But I ended up going off and sending him a text message stating like, yeah, dude, you should not go off and scam people. And I had I also included the deed that I saw and actually showed you guys like 2 seconds ago in the text message. Actually, I'll just put the text message right here. But geez, that was pretty good, and I ended up getting my game back, which is the entire point. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, why didn't you go off and give his information? Why didn't you quote unquote dox him? And that's because I don't want to go off and dox people. Yes, he's a scammer. Yes, he's a scumbag, but it's not right to go off and dox people regardless. And just, geez, man, this is just absolutely ridiculous. So, if you guys liked this video, make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Also, if you want to donate me some cryptocurrency, I accept Litecoin up here. And also, I guess some Ethereum or something along those lines. And if you're wanting to jump into cryptocurrency, I'll have my Coinbase link at the bottom. I'd highly recommend joining that because cryptocurrency, possibly the future. I think it's pretty awesome. And if you're ever wanting to jump in, probably now's the time. But obviously don't go too crazy with it because cryptocurrency is extraordinarily volatile and absolutely insane. So yeah. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and peace out.